Serious, what ruined your innocence? Watching my mother lose the ability to walk when she got MS. She was 36. I was 10. She died 8 years later. My parents' gambling addiction. We lost our house, and it forced me to leave school to get a job to help support them. I left when they continued to gamble, and my sister started too. They deserve each other. Edit. Wow, thanks for the upvote, folks. Being abused for 8 years of my life by my drug-addicted father. I was exposed to so much because of his addiction, but I will thank the heavens every day that rehab actually worked for him and he came back a completely different man and was a goodo father from then on. That man taught me a lot early, but then came back and not only made up for how he was, but continues to be the best dad and grandfather. He taught me one of the most valuable lessons that I desperately needed to learn: sometimes you need to sacrifice what I love most for those I love most. It could make all of the difference. Being huddled under my bed late at night as a young child while hearing my parents scream and beat each other in arguments over bills, loans, and all the consequences of their stupid decisions. Unsupervised access to the internet from a very young age. Being homeless at 14, but honestly probably way before that. Grew up quicker than a child should have to. Hearing on the news that my surf life-saving coach just got 30 years in jail for being a pedo. Never touched my brother and I, but I kept asking questions to my mother until I found out what it all meant. Oh my. My mother's cancer diagnosis happened when I was around 13, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head. My own grandfather molesting me, my grandmother, his remarriage, covering for him when I told her in tears. An hour later, I'm in the car with him being scolded for almost getting him in trouble. He took me into the forest for camping. I don't think I need to finish my story for you to put it all together. I was about 5. Being molested in 1st grade by an older kid. Then having to testify in court. Had to go to mandated therapy and counseling afterward. Became an outcast at school. I went from being a confident and vibrant child to the withdrawn and quiet person I am today. Being brutally beaten a few times unconscious when I was 4, 5, 6. Probably my auntie being murdered in her front lawn by a jealous ex. I wasn't a witness. Attended the funeral though, and was not prepared for that amount of grief. I wasn't traumatized towards funerals, but absolutely lost innocence. I was about 5 or 6. My deployment to Afghanistan. Asking too many questions too early in life and having an honest mother. Edit asterisk to be fair to my mother, had she been less honest, I would have found a way to get my answers, anyway. Having the neighbor shoot my dog and not being able to do a damn thing about it except cry and come to realize the world was mean. Pensive face, I still miss my Sasha. Being forced to make the call to pull the plug on my own mom after she shot herself in the head. She was my everything. I lived a very sheltered life before that. That night has forever played over and over with no change to the outcome. It definitely shattered me as a person. Approaching 5 years this October and still not a day I haven't thought of it. If anyone else is a SOS or considering, please know you are so loved and wanted. It's a permanent solution to a temporary problems. I guess my parents' divorce. There is a definite before memories that seem bright and happier and after memories which feel like reality. They also divorced when I was almost 11, so that was already formulative and maturing years. Being emotionally abused at a very young age. 20-year-old me getting shot at by an 11-year-old Afghan kid. When I was a kid, my mom met this really cool guy. They dated for a while and everything was fine. After a few months he introduced her to drugs and she got hooked. One night I wake up by a strange feeling that something is wrong. I remember running into the kitchen and seeing him, standing over my mum, beating her up. In disbelief and confusion I grabbed a pair of scissors and stabbed him in his eyes.